All right, what's up, people? So I figured I'd give my thoughts on this battle because I think y'all voted an interesting way, and I'm gonna disagree. But my reasons, you'll see my reasons in a second. So before we get to that, I hope everybody enjoyed listening to The Haunter of the Dark. Now, what you're gonna see is as this thing progresses, I have my own theories about what H.P. Lovecraft, because he's got two distinct sets of tales, you might say. You have his Eldritch horrors, also known as the Cthulhu mythos, but then you also have what's known as the dream cycle. And they're intertwined because there are certain characters, especially when you're talking about things like Azathoth or Yog Sothoth or Nyarlathotep, that appear one way in the waking universe, but that appear differently, or that they have different functions in the dream world or the dreamlands. So that's why I'm putting this together in the order I'm putting it together, and I'm kind of weaving them together in a way so that you can kind of see, okay, you're getting this from one perspective. When we get to part 10, which will be the final part, the story I end on, which is probably going to be the only one that's really, really long. I'm trying to keep most of these short. And come on, man. Tyson stomps, dude. All right, so let's get to, I promise this is not going to be a long video. These two here. Now, the thing you have to understand about Anti-Crisis Wonder Woman is that she's basically a reset switch. Because, okay, in DC Comics, now Anti-Crisis Wonder Woman is in DC, and the White Phoenix of the Crown is in Marvel. So we're dealing with different, but if you've seen any of the crossovers, like I was showing y'all the Avengers JLA the other day, is that they inhabit what I believe is called the Omniverse together. So they can cross over, but it's extremely hard or rare, or whatever you want to call it. So in DC Comics, they have these resets that they call crises. So the first one was obviously Crisis on Infinite Earths. And then they kept going with it. They did Infinite Crisis, Final Crisis. They kept doing it. And then the latest one was Dark Knight's Metal, which is the one where you get the Batman who laughs, who ends up stealing half of Dr. Manhattan's power. The other half, incidentally, was stolen by Wally West Flash. But then that ends up getting reintegrated into somebody else, and then it ends up, because there's this big bad named Perpetua, who's like think of the Living Tribunal in Marvel, but even more powerful than that, contextually. And contextually is going to make an issue in this, what we might call a fight. So anytime there's a crisis, there has to be a flip of the switch. Somebody's got to flip the switch. Kind of like Franklin Richards did at the end of the Age of Heroes. Basically, at the end of the Onslaught saga, Franklin Richards was the one that... Because at the time, Onslaught actually had control of both Franklin Richards and Nate Gray. Which is why when I did that... I did the one about... Hold on, let me get to it. I did this one here. Let's go down here. Yeah, this probably will be a long video. This one. No, not that one. Jesus stomped. I ain't even gonna argue it. That's closer than, that should be closer. I still think John Wick takes it, but it's in here somewhere. Come on, here it is. I think Onslaught, 5 votes, it should have been 4-1 or something. It shouldn't have been 5-0. Because Onslaught actually has control over two of the most powerful. Franklin Richards is a reality warper, and Nate Gray is a telekinetic. And Onslaught's already a telekinetic, so it just boosts his power. It's like a power boost. And he has them both trapped inside of his armor. That's armor, by the way. So let's go back up here. and let's continue this conversation. So in the latest event, like I said, dark metal, the agent of the crisis was He Who Laughs. It basically came through the Batman Who Laughs, who's trying to steal Perpetua's power and basically annihilate the entire, well, not annihilate, he tries to make a deal with Wonder Woman. Because what ends up happening is, because there has to be balance in the powers, because He Who Laughs has consolidated so much power, because like I said, he stole half of Dr. Manhattan's power. Especially means half of infinity, so you're basically talking infinity. So he's like getting to be all powerful on the dark side. So there has to be a balance on the light side, and that's where Wonder Woman comes in. So her entire job is to flip the switch. She wins, but in the process she dies. And everything is reset. So then there's Wonder Woman's back, but it's just regular Wonder Woman. So she had the arc where she basically got all the power, killed the bad guy, but in the process sacrificed herself and rebirthed the universe. So that's Anti-Crisis Wonder Woman. So she has pretty much infinite power, but only to flip the switch on a crisis event. Now, on the other hand, the White Phoenix of the Crown is pretty much in Marvel. The way the power scale works is you have what's known as the one above all. It's basically God. And then you have the living tribunal. And then you have pretty much the next tier, which would include eternity, death, infinity, Abraxas, even Galactus, although Galactus is on the weak end of that scaling. And then you get down into regular level shit. Well, I mean, top tier regular level shit. The Phoenix is interesting because whereas there is an eternity for each universe throughout the multiverse, there's only one living tribunal for the entire multiverse. And there is only one White Phoenix of the Crown. Meaning that this is a multiversal level being. And basically the thing is, she can kind of do whatever the fuck she wants. This is kind of like the sky's the limit. You know what I mean? Like from big to small. I mean, she could, destroy a universe with a thought. She could create a universe with a thought. You know what I mean? We're talking that level of power. But she doesn't get... Okay, so in Marvel, there's this thing called the White Room. And it's kind of hard to explain. But she has access to it. And basically, she can't really be in any way hurt, injured, anything. Affected by anything at all. She's just like, think of it like this, like you say. You got God, then you have the living tribunal, and she's at the same level pretty much as the living tribunal. So, head to head, the only way Wonder Woman wins is if you could somehow say that there's going to be some kind of a crisis event caused by the White Phoenix of the Crown, who's actually a good guy. So they're both good guys, by the way. So I think as far as overall sheer level of power, it would be Wonder Woman. However, head to head, this has got to be the White Phoenix of the Crown. I'm just saying, and you know me, I'm a Wonder Woman mark, but you got to go by the stats. You got to go by the power levels. That's why the one that gets me is like, anytime somebody brings up Superman versus the Silver Surfer, and I'm just like, Surfer stomps. It's not even close. Silver Surfer just decimates Superman. And I'm a Superman mark, but I can admit when my dude is outmatched. You know what I mean? I mean, some people might say, well, maybe he could. You got to pull some strings on that one. Even if you go with the, fucking Superman 1 million. We haven't even talked about that motherfucker yet. Wait till we get to that motherfucker. When I put that dude in a one-on-one, I expect the correct answer, sir. But even they say he's not as powerful as Cosmic Armor Superman, but I beg to differ. We can talk about that. the 853rd century version of Superman that's been sun dipped the entire fucking time. And when he comes out, he's just fucking. He looks like in that fucking the one versus Goku when he flies out of the sun and he just looks totally different. It's like that. You know what I'm saying? He just got all the fucking solar energy. But I'll leave that there. That's my analysis of that battle. Like I said, I can't vote in my own polls, but if it's head to head, I got to give it to the Phoenix. If it's overall ability to just manipulate the reality, then it goes to Wonder Woman. But then to do that, she had to die.